Peace, HHDG. We are on another episode of HHDG Media Podcast. And as you can see, you can check out our website below, hhdgmedia.com. I have new music posted up there, new merch, hoodies for cold days like today, which was a nice day before the temperature just dropped about a good 30 degrees. You can check out what events and this put together by our HHDG Media Inc. crew of Rock Beta KB, T. Smith, the Mayor, Skelly Top, myself with you. Before we get into tonight's young upcoming guest, shout out to the Facebook group. Pretty sure everyone's tuning in from the hip hop discussion group right now, as well as on YouTube. Also, we have a best of 2K21 mixtape mixed by our own Rock Vader KB. Go check that out on the website. It's also through our link tree. And as far as tonight, we got a very energetic, talented young brother on the mic. He's continued to work with a great core group of artists and producers. He's worked with some surprising well-known guests. He has a very consistent work ethic with his catalog that continues to grow. He just dropped 2 dope tracks this year for another upcoming project. Definitely looking forward to that. And he's coming out of a state that, we have some well-known people come out of that area where he's also from. And he continues to put out some dope projects, EPs, albums, collaboration projects. And he's got a great fashion sense as well, which you're going to see in a minute. Let's give it up for the young, talented MC, BlaQ Chidori.
Peace.
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
Good. Did I say Rugrats when you were with you?
Rugrats, Tommy and all
Dope. Now, like I was saying, young upcoming artist, full of energy, full of talent. Coming out of Williamsburg, Virginia. 757.
Yep, 2 up, 2 down.
Tell us where that energy comes from.
Well, a lot of the energy mainly comes from my passion. I feel like with hip hop and the art that I'm in, as well as the culture, it's a culture that I was, born into and, raised into at a very early age. So being able to express both my life experiences and my wisdom through an art form I'm already passionate about, I feel like the energy and love is just going to automatically come with it, And at the very same time, I'm trying to, really showcase how serious I take my art and this culture as well, because it's a huge part of my life.
Yeah, you definitely show that because, between the sequencing, the sound quality on your projects, artwork, everything is very professional.
Thank you. I do a lot of all the artwork, all the engineering for it, sometimes the production as well. All that I do myself, and from an iPhone at that.
Nice. Yeah. So tell us, some of your inspiration coming up. Like which artists, that really got you into I want to rhyme.
Well, what really had me like so enamored with hip hop was the artist Cameron, from Dipset.
Hmm.
He really got me to like really love rap and hip hop, you know. And then it was Eminem who got me to want to try to, start formulating bars. But the
Hmm.
artist who actually who showed me what it is to be an MC and what made me be like, yo, like what he's doing on a mic and what he's doing with lyricism, I want to try to be like that. I want to try to do that. Is an artist by the name of Mickey Fax, who I've had the honor of being able to work with twice.
Absolutely, yeah. Wow,
Yeah,
he's definitely a great inspiration.
yeah,
Mm.
he's a monster, man. He's a monster.
And he's one of those lyricists that he continues to improve his pen game.
Yeah, definitely.
So, being that he inspired you, how did you actually end up linking up with him?
Um, so really, it came about like this. So one day I was just, at home chilling, doing nothing. I was trying to think of what my next move was gonna be because I had just dropped the Black Fiction album,
Hmm.
director's cut. The director's cut hadn't came out yet. It wasn't even an idea yet, but I just dropped Black Fiction, and I was trying to think of a way to do something that's gonna, make an impact and at least give a really strong impression for that year in the music scene. And so while I was just thinking of a way to do that, my father came and he sent me a story. And it was a story that Allen Iverson's cousin, whose name is Larry Tan, who happens to be RJ Payne's manager, had on his story, um, allowing people to inquire about working with RJ Payne. Now,
Hmm.
I think I was one of the first people and one of the only people who really tapped in, especially tapped in as fast. And so I got linked with Larry Tan and I did a collaboration with RJ Payne to be on his upcoming his next Leatherface project when he
Yeah.
releases that. And
Hmm.
so from that point, it got me a good relationship with Larry Tan, who happens to be a consultant as well. And working with RJ Payne had showed me that it's not impossible to be able to work with these artists that I'm looking up to. And
Hmm.
so I was going to have an idea to take a set amount of money and I wanted to get Styles P and Ransom on a track together. And so I went and I called Larry. And during a conversation with Larry, I brought that idea up to him because I wanted to see how he felt about it, whatever, whatever. And so he was like, "Yo, that's a crazy idea. Like that's pretty fire. But I'm gonna be real with you. I wouldn't pay that amount of money for Ransom or Styles P." And
Hmm.
so it kind of took me aback because I was like, "Nigga, it's Ransom and Styles P." You know what I'm
Right.
saying? It
Yeah.
it should definitely be worth it. But he broke it down to me that he would, for the same amount of money that I would have paid Ransom, I could have got at least 3 to 4 artists for that same amount I was going to pay for just one artist. So from that point, it then sparked an idea of okay, since I know it's not impossible to work with artists I look up to and legends that are in the
Hmm.
game, and if he's saying to spread the money out like that, then for a set amount of money, I want to try to make a tape where I battle all of these artists that I look up to. And thus that sparked the idea for Ragnarok.
Right.
And that's
Hmm.
when I started. The first track was actually Gods versus Mortals, which was the single for that project. And I went to the first person I went to was Timbo King. He was supposed to be on it, but complications happened, so he wasn't able to make it. While at the same time, I already had Timbo King on it. 3D Nati was a person I went to, and then after I linked with her, I then went to Mickey Fax because he was the one who inspired me anyway. I was like,
Yeah.
yo, Mickey, like let's you know what I'm saying? I explained the idea to him, like, yo, I want to do this posse cut, me, you, 3D Nati, Timbo King. He was like, word, that shit sound crazy. Let's do it. And then, I was on Twitter, and as I was scrolling through Twitter, I seen who I thought was Ransom saying, hey, tap in to get these features with me. But it turned out that it wasn't Ransom, it was the artist JR. At the time, he had like Ransom's profile pic, and his name was Heavy as the Head out now, like on the little display name.
Oh,
He was,
okay.
he was promoting for his mans and whatnot. So I mistook it for Ransom. But then once I saw that it was JR, I was like, well, shit, nigga, I've heard you on plenty of shit. I would definitely love to work with you. And then boom, we got that locked in, and that's what locked me in with JR, 3D Nati, and Mickey Fax to be able to have the opportunity to work with them again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
And I got to give you a lot of credit, your business sense already at that age, and working with people in the industry that are steering you in the right way. That's, at your level and your age right now, to continue to work with that. That's great.
Yeah. And I got to give all that credit to Larry Tan, for real. Like, he gave me an entire notebook worth of knowledge and wisdom and game.
Mm-hmm.
And since those phone calls and conversations with Larry Tan, I've just been applying it how I can. Yeah.
That's great. A lot of young artists right now, I think y'all need to pay attention to this.
Facts. There's a lot of media and platform out there as well that kind of gives you
Mm-hmm.
insight towards how
Yeah.
the industry works. Like Matt Hoffa's My Expert Opinion. I would spend a lot of time watching that religiously. Drink Champs as well kind of gives you certain insight to that as well. But like I said, I really got to give the credit to Larry Tan. He really broke it down to me how I needed to hear it.
That's good. Shout out to Larry Tan.
Hell yeah.
Excellent work. Yeah, man. I mean, just to already be working with those artists that you named, it's amazing, man.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, and at the same time, just because they're lyrical juggernauts, you hung with them, so that says a lot about you.
I mean, shit, on some real shit, during the entire experience making Ragnarok, throughout all the tracks, all the artists that are on those tracks, certain people had to rewrite verses, certain people had to take more time putting together verses, which that showed me that I didn't have to be as self-conscious about my art. It showed me that I really take myself, it showed me I could take myself more seriously, as well as it really gave me reassurance that what I'm doing is definitely the right kind of stuff. If I can leave that type of impression on those kind of, icons.
Yeah. And being that we're speaking on Ragnarok, we got to talk about the production, JR and Monstar.
Oh yeah, JR Monster. They didn't produce it. Those are actually the artists who were on it. Some of the producers for Ragnarok was, shout out to Saputa. He's from VA as well. He's a really great and talented young producer. Ritz BK out of Brooklyn, New York. There's also Protagonist, who is producing the upcoming album I have as well. And then, yeah, it was Saputa, Bliss BK, and Protagonist. For real.
Okay.
And then,
My fault.
but JR.
I could have sworn Monstar did some.
No, Monstar, he was on about 3 of the tracks. That's actually my father as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Monstar. But he recently changed his name to MOB, which stands for
MOB
Monstar on the beat.
on the beats.
Yeah, Monstar.
Yes,
on the beat.
indeed.
Yeah.
And that came out. What was that? Near the end of 2021? Or am I thinking of the
Like
other project?
November,
Like November, right? Yeah.
November. We had started working on it since September. The only reason it took so long was, there was a hurricane in New Orleans, and then certain artists that didn't make the cut. The complications with them. It was just like I got roped into the whole beef between, well, quote unquote, misunderstanding between Mickey Vax and the Sons of Man because of stuff that was said on drink camps as well.
Yeah.
So it was just a lot of different, complex factors that went into the process of it. But I'm not mad it took so long, because in a certain sense, things it taught me to be really patient with the art, in that no matter how long certain things take and no matter what happens during it, things happen for a reason, and in the end stuff works itself out how it needs to.
Yes, it did. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And there's two other people, notable guest features on here. Actually, three. Number one, you got I Am God coming out of Chi-Town.
That's my nigga. That's my nigga. Shout out I Am God. He's crazy with it.
Dope. Yes, indeed. Definitely blowing up. And you have Nature coming out of Queens.
Yeah. It was the experience of actually like working with him and tapping in with him. I respect him so much, because he's very, very, he's a very, very serious person. Like, because when I first approached him, I sent him the message with, the proposal and then the money that I was offering. And then I gave him my number. He didn't even respond to the message, just immediately called me and was like, yo, he was just like, yo, seen that message. You serious about that shit? I was like, shit, yeah. And he was like, I send the money. Now I sent the money. He was like, I bet. So look, I'm gonna be real with you. Save my number. Like, whenever you want to talk, just call me whenever you feel like calling me. I don't like doing that internet shit. I don't like playing with that internet shit. Whatever.
Okay.
Like, we go in contact like face to face like that, like direct. So I was like, shit, yeah, bet that. So then I sent him the beat, and we locked in on it and whatnot. And then one day I was chilling, talking to my father, and then he called me out of nowhere. He was in the studio, and then he played his verse for me that was on Heimdall's horn. Made that nigga play that shit 10 different times. I just kept telling him, rewind it, play it back. Because I've never heard him. To me, that was the best Nature I've heard. And I've heard him on plenty of different posse cuts and tracks. Like, one of his most famous verses, Banned from TV, his verse on Heimdall's horn, in my opinion, was better than his verse on Banned from TV. For real.
Yeah. And you also had SAS, the Dipset affiliates right there.
Yeah.
Man.
Those two, as a child, when I was first introduced to them, they were like mega stars in my eyes. Because I was looking at them, because during that time when I was first introduced to them, I wasn't as familiar with the foreign hip hop scenes whatsoever. So when I first heard them, I was like, "Yo, these niggas British?" And then my dad was like, "Yeah, like these people, like Kanye wanted them real bad. You know what I'm saying? Kanye son, and stuff like that. Like, my dad was breaking down the history to me, and I thank my dad for introducing me to hip hop and putting me, like, he's the reason I'm so cultured in this shit, for real. And so I would just be at the crib just listening to a bunch of SAS freestyles, and like their chemistry on tracks, what they
Yeah.
do, like for both of them to be that nice, but for both of them to be that nice and like go back and forth to where sometimes you can't even tell which one is which. It sounds like they're one nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like they're one super nigga. Like to me, they're like Voltron on the track when they come together. And so, when we were thinking of the track, the producer of that track that they're on, he himself, protagonist, he's British. So I was like, yo, we already got a
Mm,
UK producer. We I was like, yo, we gotta get SAS. Like, well, it just makes sense. It just makes sense. The same reason I went and I told my father to holla at I Am God for me, because his name was I
mm,
Am God, and the project's called Ragnarok. You know what I'm saying? So I was like,
mhm,
certain things just made sense.
mhm.
So it just had to be done. It had to be done.
Dope. That's dope. Shout out to Mayhem and Mega.
Hell
Dope,
yeah.
man.
I loved it, bro. I loved him. I loved him.
And with most of your names on the socials, you have God in it.
Yes, indeed. I'm heavy on spirituality.
Mm,
Knowledge of self is a very pivotal thing, and knowledge of self is both weaponized against us, especially as young Black men, as well as it's lacked in a lot of the Black communities. So it's important that you know yourself, and in turn, you know God.
mhm.
So whenever I call myself God, I'm being serious because I am God.
Well said, man. Mm. And from there, I got to go into your name, BlaQ Chidori. You got to be into Naruto.
Yeah. So the thing about that, you know, because I've actually been rhyming since I was like 12, 13 years old. So at first, I used to call myself the Black Doctor Doom. So
Mm,
when it came time that I was supposed to be, recording myself on my own type of pages and platforms, my uncle Jabril Kuyate, he was really mentoring me a lot during my early stages. And, he was like, you need to come up with some type of name for yourself, and especially like one that's going to, stick, so to speak.
mm,
And so at first, I was just going to be Black, but Black was taken, you know, especially how I was trying to spell it, that was already taken. So he had asked me, he was like, "Well, what TV show are you watching right now?" I was like, "Well, my
uh,
dad put me on the Nard, so I started watching that recently." And then he just told me to go with Chidori, so I just went with it. But I am a fan of Naruto. Like, don't get me wrong, but
mm,
I didn't name it because I'm that much of like an anime geek.
right, right.
I'm really not that much into anime, but I do love anime though.
Hmm. But with the meaning of Chidori, with the original technique,
Yeah,
you know, you are an MC and you're not following any one style. So you are the original.
no, that's facts. That's facts. See, I didn't really give too much because like I said, when I did it, it was kind of just a in the moment,
Hmm.
like let me just choose something, let me choose some type shit. But eventually, since I've been so consistent with the name and sticking with it, and when I start crafting bars where I'm saying my name, Black Chidori or BC, you know, I believe it was on I believe it was on Kimia, and then it was on the song Blackland Zoo, which was a remix to Brooklyn Zoo, where I kind of gave a meaning to the name. That Chidori, which is Kakashi's move,
Hmm.
that Kakashi on the show is known as the copycat ninja, meaning he doesn't necessarily copy everybody, but he is a ninja that he doesn't have any set style. He's so versatile, he could do all of the
All
styles,
that.
all of the jutsus that are seen on the show. So I believe it was on Black Zoo where I said Black Chidori, the Kakashi of these jutsus. And then on Kamiya, on my first verse, I was comparing myself to Hove, Nas, Young Thug, and Kanye West. And then I said, I'm not here to talk about my influences. I'm fluent with this art, meaning that my whole thing, which if you listen to my verses on Ragnarok as well, I talked about being so versatile you cannot box me in. That's my whole goal as BlaQ Chidori, that I want to be known as, you can't call me, oh, he's a conscious rapper, or oh, he's a trap rapper, or oh, he's this rapper. You can't say I'm none of that. The most
Yeah,
you
you're
can,
in none of those.
and yeah, and then you can't even say I'm just a rapper, because all of my artwork I make, all of the, like, you, most of my production as well as my engineering, I do all of that shit myself. So I'm more than just a rapper. I'm an artist. I want to be known as the most versatile artist.
I didn't know he was into engineering as well, but being that your father's monster, I could see giving you the jewels. Yep. Still.
Well, no, I taught myself how to engineer. Like
Oh, okay. Oh, that's dope.
like, and then at the time, but like my father, he used to rap a lot and whatnot, but I was the reason um he got back like on the mic on some real shit. Yeah,
That's fire.
yeah, yeah.
Interesting. Now, we didn't talk about the Black album just yet, but before we do, is there a significance with the Q being capitalized in Black?
At first, no, but like I said, later on, as I really started, you know, developing my identity more as BlaQ Chidori, of course, the significance and meaning and things came along with it. The capital Q is, in homage or in homage to Dr. York and the Nuwapian teachings, where they capitalize the Q on certain names and stuff like that, like the Riskians,
Hmm.
the planet Risk. It's kind of like in reference to that.
So, and with aside from your father, there's some, I see him, more frequent on your projects. So I'm not sure if they're all, either local, and I know some of them from Jersey, but I'm just name some of their names. El Jacko, Phil V, um, who else? Nums. You work quite often with these people. Patty Honcho, which you got the project out.
Patty, look, all of those people that you name, especially Phil V and Patty Honcho, those are people, they're not local to my area,
Hmm.
and they're not like family, but I consider them family to me. Like my respect and love for them. El Jacko, who's an amazing producer, him and Beatnot, they're the ones that produced the Black Fiction Director's Cut. I got some more El Jacko productions on my upcoming album. Nums, he's an amazing artist and an amazing producer as well. Working with him was a great experience, because the song that we did called Vincent and Jules, where we went
Hmm.
back and forth on the track, that was really one of my first times doing some style type of shit. And also during that time, I was in a tight spot financially, but he looked out for me and worked with me um around that. So my love and respect for him extends beyond just some artists that I work with. And then Phil V, I just respect him so much because he's an artist that is not afraid to be as wise on tracks. Like, he spits a lot of spiritual shit, you know? And it's crazy too, because like and I mean all respect when I say this, like he's a white man. And usually that type of consciousness on in hip hop you would hear from like, someone that's like a 5%er or something like that. But he's a white man with God body knowledge and knowledge of self, like on a level, like, like that. I was like, yo, like I
Mhm.
got no choice but to just totally respect that. And then, on tracks with him, the passion and chemistry we have, because we're both on, similar wavelengths and frequencies when it comes to that type of shit with our art, you know. Um, it's just so organic. That's why I love him so much, And then Patty Honcho, that's my brother, man. Like that's my brother right there. So you can expect a lot of collabs with Patty Honcho. That's my brother. I love that man.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So now, Beatonot, am I pronouncing that right?
Mhm.
He's out of the Netherlands. How did you link up with him?
It was around the time I was first developing the concept of Black Fiction Director's Cut. Ragnarok had already came out and whatnot. So, and I was letting people marinate on Ragnarok. Everybody was going crazy over Ragnarok during that time. So, I was trying to find a way to trick people into listening to Black fiction again. So,
Uh,
I was like, rather than just like, what's a way I can promote that project while also, you know, because at that time, because I feel like each time I work with someone, each time I make a new track, that old Chidori died. There's a whole new Chidori that's on a whole new level now and stuff like that. So I was like, what's the way I can really trick people into listening to Black fiction again, but like giving them something fresh
mhm.
that's like this new Chidori that relates to the point in time I'm in, both in real life and with my music and art. So, I was sitting back trying to really develop the whole theme of Black fiction. And that was, of course, an homage to Pulp Fiction. So I was like, what's the way I can really embody that theatricalness of the film? So I was
Mm.
like, it's got to be through the sonics. The production has to sound like it's a movie. So, I scoured through the internet, listening to so much shit, and then I just ran in and beating on it. And I was like, yo, this cat, this nigga crazy. Like, so I went and I hit him up, and then we just locked in from there, you know?
Mm. That's great. Mm.
Yeah,
Definitely shout out him. And
for
he
sure.
also he just recently has a track on uh, Brooklyn MC from the Walkers, Eddie King, on his
Yeah,
album that just came out
yeah,
yesterday on
yeah,
before the Kano.
yeah. I congratulated him for that, man. That's big news. That's crazy. That was
Yeah,
crazy. Yeah.
that's dope. And another person, I just came to mind, King James.
Yeah, that's see, him and JR, to me, they're like my OGs. I look at them as like my older brothers, and especially King James. I got a lot of respect and love for him. That like I said, for Patty Honcho and Nums and Phil
Hmm.
V, it extends past beyond the art. There was a point in time where I was dealing with some things, and I really didn't have many older folk in my corner I could turn to or really
Hmm.
talk about it with to really mediate on how I should handle things. But he was there, nigga was at work and was like, yo, you mind if I call you? So, what I'm saying? And he was still at work and sat with me on the phone for like a whole hour and like we just talked, and that talk really, really was necessary. It really helped. You know what I'm saying? Like I love that dude, King James. And he's an amazing father too. I have respect for black men that take fatherhood extremely serious, because
Mm.
not a lot do.
Not a lot.
Yeah, not
Yeah,
a lot do.
respect that. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I got to bring this up again. This is a young MC talking right now, 19 years old.
yeah,
You know, there's artists in the game that didn't take the time to have the experience and learn the way you're talking back from the jewels that were provided to you, and make that a actual legacy. You're working your way to having a legacy, and your versatility, like you were just speaking about, is a key component to that.
yeah. In all honesty, yeah. In all honesty, yeah. Like I started off doing this really just to prove that I could do it. And then, it went from having fun with it to then taking it seriously, because I was realizing, and other people were making me realize how much work I've really been putting into this, because I really built myself from the ground up, like teaching myself how to do all of this shit. And it's just been consistent with it, you know?
Greatness.
Mhm.
At some point, you're going to be teaching someone else, the same knowledge that's been passed on to you. I can see from, just
I
our
hope
talk
so.
right
I hope
now.
so. I hope so. I really hope so, Like, and the thing about it is, all the stuff I'm doing, the age doesn't matter. There are people
Mhm.
younger than me who probably have the same skill and mind and potential. It's just all about having the will to act on that and tap into it. Where there's a will, there's a way. You know what I'm saying?
No management. You are your management.
Yeah, like absolutely no management at all. Like I've had people in my corner here and there who taught me certain things, but
Mhm.
I'm the one who's still applying those teachings. You know what I'm saying? Myself. All the money that was spent to do what I've done, I've spent like was all me. All me. Yeah.
Dope, dope. Now we spoke about your energy, your versatility, which also shown, with production. Let's talk about the content
Mm.
of your music. 'Cause you already spoke, it's, part of it is your life,
Mhm.
but anybody could talk about their life. It's
Yeah.
how you portray it.
Yeah. I feel like a lot, a lot of what I talk about, it definitely stems from the teachings I was introduced to, which again, I got to thank my father for introducing me to those. He's never, like, not himself directly, you know, taught me, but he
Mhm.
would introduce things to me because he knew how far I was going to take it myself if I was serious about it. And if I wasn't serious about it, of course, then, good thing he didn't waste time trying to teach me, because there would have been no point to that. But a lot of what I spit about comes from I gained from studying things on my own, and and learning from this source, learning from that source, Nuwapian teachings as well. I'm not going to claim I'm a Nuwapian. I don't align with any religions or organizations. I am my own person. The only thing I belong to is the Most High and myself, you know. But a lot of what I rap about, it just comes from the natural experiences knowledge and understanding that I've gained.
There you go. Hmm. And with your projects, from talking with you tonight, I see how your expression of your life is in your album covers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can see it. You know what I'm saying? The main thing being, the chain, and then the glasses. You could see that on my character, Lou Musique, which that's the name of the woman with the purple hair that you usually see
Hmm.
on my cover. She's been there since the Black album. If you look really closely, she's there on the Black album. If you look on the Holy Black Mix, she's there on the Holy Black Mix. She's on, if you look on Ragnarok, she's there on Ragnarok. So like I
Hmm.
kind of Easter egg that character, but at the same time, it tells a story of that character through each release and cover art that features her. You just gotta really catch it and pay attention. Now I have my own storyline um and history of her and lots of my own information of her. But at the same time, I want people to slowly really digest my art first and then
Hmm.
start catching on to things. And I want to see how people interpret things themselves. That's why I don't ever really come out and say, oh, this is what this is. This is what I really mean by this. This is what I mean by that. I don't want to define it for them. I would like people to try and define my art themselves, because art is,
Themselves. Hmm.
yeah, art is
Yeah.
supposed to be subjective. It's open to interpretation. You know,
Yeah.
yeah,
And everyone's not going to see it the exact same way. Absolutely. Yeah.
exactly, exactly, exactly.
And you also have coming up new project, White Melodies.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I'm real
you
excited.
got definitely you got two tracks already out.
Two singles.
What is it? Niggas to Gods, produced
Mhm.
by Sovereign. Shout out to Sovereign. We
Yeah,
had her on the show before.
yeah. She's
And then you
beautiful.
got your other track, Jesus Christ,
Yeah, Jesus Christ, White Savior with Phil V. Yeah,
Phil V. Yep.
that's my nigga, man. Phil V. I felt like for that track, it was only right I picked Phil V. Because because like I said, I've worked with plenty of artists, but like when it came to really trying to capture the message and point of that track, which you
Hmm.
gotta really listen to that track, and some of the shit you gotta really just know already to understand what we're referencing
What
and
you
talking
doing?
about with the Nicene Creed, and the commission of it by Constantine, and the effects that the corrupted version of Christianity had on Black people and their spirituality and their minds. If you don't already understand some of that shit, you really won't get the song. To you, the song
Right.
is gonna sound like a bop, which it is, but it has a really strong message. And I was like, I don't know any other artist who can help me embody that message other than Phil V. Because listen to his music and what he talks about, he already is on that same type of, like we do similar shit when it comes to that truth and spirituality and quote unquote conspiracies, as people want to call it, shit like
Hmm.
that. I was like, Phil V is necessary for this track. This track needs Phil V. And how he came off on that track was amazing. Cause like my verse was dedicated as like a letter to my people, you know. Of course, he's white. I'm saying he has his own lane to stay within. He can't talk to my people how I'm talking to my people, but he still
Hmm.
got the same point and message across, talking about generally the whole lie about Jesus Christ and the whole lies about spirituality. So it kind of contrasted very well with my verse, where I'm talking about the same thing he's talking about it, but I'm also talking about what that did, and then he's talking about the history of it and then breaking it down to you, you know. So it was a really beautiful track. And I felt like with niggas to gods as well, you know, I was like, yo, let me get my brother on this and let's really talk to these niggas on this track. See, those two tracks, the reason I released them the way I did is because they both really embody and capture both a preview at what the album is going to be like sonically. Because if you listen to Niggas to Gods, it's a little more dark versus Jesus Christ, White Savior. It's a little more upbeat and vibey and happy, you know? So for the White Melodies, when people go in and they really listen to it, they're going to see it's actually broken down into three parts. If you look at the cover art, on the cover art, you see a black hand holding a gun to the KKK man's head. And then when you look at the middle of him, he's got a bunch of chains on. On the chains, on one of the chains, is a hanging black man on a noose. On another chain, is Harriet Tubman. On another chain, is Frederick Douglass. That's the body. And then, you know, as you get lower, you see other things. So the White Melodies album, it's broken into three parts. Consciousness, that's the whole beginning half of it. That's more upbeat, more vibey, more happy, and then more conscious music. You got the body of it. That's the, you know, the heart and the pain and the emotional life experiences through tracks. And then you got the lower half, which is going to be, you know, the bars, the penmanship. And then the very last parts of the track of the project is a combination of all of that.
Well executed, you know.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm really
Well
excited
executed.
for that one. I collaborated with it's 20 tracks, you know, for the whole project. It's 20 tracks. I collaborated with a lot of great friends of mine, a lot of great artists that I respect. You know, Nicholas Craven, Elzai,
Ooh.
uh, King James, Jr. Nums for some production, El Jacko for some production. Sovereign and Protagonist are the ones producing that album. Patty Honcho, Phil V, um, Noah Doll, cool. You know what I'm saying? We have a track on there that is really special because that track, it sounds like I'm dissing him in my verse, but if you listen to the full track, we're actually telling a real life experience and story where there was a point in time where me and him actually had some issues, you know, like it wasn't like no personal like beef that was that serious, but you know, we weren't really getting along like that. And when you listen to the track, it paints that whole picture and story in chronological order. You know what I'm saying? Like my thing, my verse is in chronological order. His verse is the response to that. So you get both sides of the story. And that's what the name of the song is too. Both sides of the story. It's a really beautiful track. You know what I'm saying? Who else am I working with? I'm working with a female artist. Her name is Nadine Marbles. You know, I'm actually one of the first artists that have ever got her for any features either. That's kind of her first time being like on platforms like that, like on major platforms with that type of exposure. That song I'm really excited about. You know what I'm saying? It's a really beautiful track, a great collab. Um, who else? Make sure I'm not forgetting anybody. Uh, Yeah, this is about everybody because I didn't get too many features. I really didn't want too many features on that album anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because I felt like I've been doing enough features so far. You know what I'm saying? Not to say that I'm gonna stop doing features. I'm gonna definitely keep doing features because I'm up with a lot of niggas on the track. You know, and then I got Patty Honcho for 3 of the songs actually. You know what I'm saying? He's the only person that appears that many times throughout the album.
Oh, I was saying Aji Mio.
Oh yeah, Mayo Nakili. Yeah, that's a he's a young person I met um through an old producer associate of mine by the name of Xander. He goes by Don't Pop Zans. He has a group chat where I met Mayo Nikili, and Mayo, he would show a lot of respect to me as an artist, and he asked if I wanted to collaborate with them on a song. So the song that me and him have, we both actually produced it together. Like, I sent him an unfinished beat that I wasn't doing anything with, and then he took it and then added a bunch of stuff to it and made it like a kind of trap vibe 808 type of track, but it's very conscious. Like, he actually impressed me, blew me away with his verse.
Yeah, I definitely get the vibe sonically. This album is diverse. Well,
Yeah,
diverse.
It's a palette. It's a palette. And truth be told, what I'm saying, it's kind of like some little secret inside shit. But I'm actually working on the B side while I'm waiting for the A side to release. So there's going to be a B side to the album that's going to be just as melodic, just as beautifully painted. And the shit going to be on a higher level, if not the same level. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna work with some more great talents for that one. I'm really excited for both. So White Melodies, the project as a whole, I'm very excited to show the world that.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Great, man. It's great hearing such positive cohesiveness, and just you're well structured, and I'm just glad to be talking with you about your music and your projects. You get another insight to the artist this way, and I can't even say you're well on your way. You're there, and you're just continuously elevating.
I appreciate that. I'm honored that you have me up here, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like my second interview ever on some real shit, so stuff like this, it makes me very happy. It shows me that what I'm doing I'm on the right path. I just got to keep going till I get there, wherever it is that I'm trying to go.
There you go. And you got like I said before, you got the right foundation of people.
Yeah. I'm grateful for it. I'm very grateful for it.
While I wait for White Melodies to drop, I'm gonna continue to play, your previous work. Blackfishing is one of my favorites.
Thank you.
Ragnarok's another one.
Yeah.
But the more recent one you did with Patty Honcho and Blood Blixen.
I feel like that one. Certain people was kind of sleeping on that one because I kind of dropped it a little suddenly. It was supposed to drop a little earlier than it did, but just certain complications with the artist that we were working with. But I'm glad, like I said, things happen for a reason, and in the end, things work themselves out how they need to. So I'm glad it still was able to come out, which that project itself is one of my most favorite projects I made, because it's not just my project, it's also Patty Honcho's project, and then the great artists we've worked with on that project. I had so much fun making that one. It was just so much fun, and then the chemistry in it was just a great experience. Making the music is honestly my favorite part of the music in itself, making it in the whole process that goes into it, whether it's the both the good and the bad.
Definitely. And you definitely shocked me having JD Era on there from Toronto.
Yeah, look, JD Era, he's another one. At the same time, I got introduced to Mickey Fax, and he blew me the fuck away. Like the same way Mickey Fax blew me away when I heard them on tracks, because I was like, who are these niggas? Like, that is just doing this on tracks. Like, this is crazy. So when we were making that project, the beat that we had, I heard that beat, and I was like, You know who I haven't heard in so long? JD Era.
Mm.
Like, I want him on a track with Patty Hancho. And like the funny thing was, if you listen to my verse, my opening line was, "My bullets time travel, go through era. Congrats, hit pat on the back." You
Exactly.
know, and before that song was even a concept, I had that line already. So that line is what really inspired me
Wow.
to make the track. Cause I was like, yo, like I'm collaborating with Patty Honcho. I was just at work bored. And then it just came to me. I was standing there at the grill line. I was working as a server at a Cracker Barrel. I got fired for some bullshit, but I looked at my dad. I tapped my dad. I was like, yo, what if on the track I said, "My bullets time travel, go through era, then congrats, hit pat on the back." And then he was like, he was like, "See, you always gonna like that battle rap type of shit." Because truth be told, battle rap is really what inspires my pen. I don't ever look at artists for how I should structure my pen because I feel like
Mm.
how battle rappers rap, how they structure their penmanship when it comes to schemes and bars, they are on a whole other level. That's a whole new
Yeah.
realm. So I was like, so that's really what I look at whenever I'm trying to write and what I'm how I'm trying to structure it. Yeah, I take up after many battle rappers, mainly female battle rappers. Truth be told, people like 40 Bars, Miss Hustle. You know what I'm saying? Like I absolutely love them. You know what I'm saying? Sue Surf, Tay Rock. You know, like I
Mm.
love them too. You know what I'm saying? They really inspire how I rhyme, how I structure my shit. But like I said, I had that bar already. So I was like, okay, I got that bar. In order for me to ever, if I ever want to spit that bar, I need a track with JD Era and Patty Entre on it at the same time. So, you know, linking up with Blood Blix and the whole process we took, because we really took our sweet time with coming up with the beats for it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm very meticulous and picky when it comes to production, because I feel like the production has to match the vibe that the cover art gives you, you know? And the vibe that the name of the project gives you, you know, like the beats to me, the beats define what I'm going to rap about.
Mm.
I don't usually already have an idea. I sit there and I'm gonna listen to the beat, and it's whatever I hear the beat saying. All of my lyrics is the beat's lyrics. You feel me? Like I already know what I'm going to talk about. Like at the end of the day, I'm only going to rap about what I know.
Yeah.
I don't make up shit. I might exaggerate certain things slightly, but if it's not real shit, I'm not gonna spit it,
I can talk
you
about it.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the end of the day as well, the beat gotta talk to me for me to talk on the beat. You feel me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm. Mm. Great talk, man. Definitely
yeah,
appreciate it. Continued success. I appreciate the work ethic. That's being spoken now. It puts more light to your projects.
yeah, yeah. Put my soul into a lot of this shit. That's why it's so spiritual.
Now, is there any chance that your projects will get any physical releases, possibly on CDs?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Music videos and physical copies, those are something
Okay.
that I'm like really in the process of, you know what I'm saying, trying to put out there.
Mm.
After the release of White Melodies and especially after the B-side, I'm definitely going to try to get out some physical copies for those at
Okay.
least by the end of this year.
Mm.
On some real shit.
Good, good.
Yeah.
Definitely, I'll definitely be supporting that.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that.
You know, great talk.
Mhm.
And I'm gonna let you end it off with giving your shout outs and letting the people know where they can support BlaQ Chidori.
I want to give a shout out to my brother Patty Honcho. I want to give a shout out to my older brother King James. I want to give a shout out to JR. By the way, King James is the one who is helping me engineer the entire White Melodies project as well. So he's a really great help to my life in general. I want to give a shout out to Nums. That's my brother. That's my nigga right there. I want to give a shout out to my man's Phil V. Y'all should definitely check out Phil V. I want to give a shout out to Know It All. Linking with him has definitely changed my life and my work ethic. As far as it goes with collaborating with artists and creative mindset. I want to give a shout out to my brother Justin Davis. I haven't worked with him yet, but he's a really great friend of mine. And behind the scenes, associating with him has definitely changed my life and my process with things. You know, I want to give a shout out to Nicholas Craven. I want to give a shout out to Sovereign. She's gorgeous. You know what I'm saying? I love her to death. I want to give a shout out to my man's Protagonist, which y'all will see him on camera pretty soon. I'm trying to get him, you know what I'm saying? I've been slowly grooming him to come outside a little more and take himself more seriously, be more confident with himself. I want to give a shout out to my man Xander, Don't Pop Zans, you know what I'm saying? I want to give a shout out to all the artists that you're going to see on the album because it was amazing being able to work with them. Special shout out to Mickey Fax. He's the reason I'm even here today. Shout out to my father. Love him to death. He's the whole reason I have such a love and passion for this culture. You know, I want to, you know, give all praises due to the Most High, first and foremost, as well. Y'all can follow me on IG at GodMC BlaQ Chidori. Y'all can follow me on Twitter, Young capital God Chidori on Twitter. You can find me on all digital streaming platforms.
It looked like he froze up a little bit. Are you still there? Well, we'll see if he can try and get reconnected so he can, you know, finish giving his socials as where his way to support at. I'm not really sure what happened just now, but I will put where you can go and reach out to him on Spotify for his music, as well as his socials. I just put in the comments the Instagram where you can reach him at, and I'll also put up the Twitter. There you go.
Yeah, my fault. It was a connection issue. But yeah, and then y'all can find me
Okay.
on, you know what I'm saying, all digital streaming platforms under the name BlaQ Chidori. But yeah, I appreciate you having me so much, man. It was a beautiful interview. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate the passion and interest that you took in me to really dig up a lot of information, you know.
Definitely, man. You know, as a fan, you know, I'm not a young man anymore, but you know, I'm still a fan. You know, I put no bias on any age because there should never be any bias on that. So if I see an artist up and coming, or maybe I never heard of before, and you know they pique my interest, I'm gonna look to see if they have anything else out there, and I'm definitely going to support, and I'll definitely go in and share it. And this is what we do for HHDG Media. We like to, you know, share the music that's worth listening to, music that's worth supporting. So we definitely salute you on that.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, and I just put the rest of your social media connects in the comments for everyone to go check that out.
I appreciate that, man. You have a beautiful night, man.
Yeah. You as well. And on behalf of our HHDG Media crew, we're going to say peace.
Peace.